first order of business is to showcase a larger gavel, more commensurate with the Lone Star State and the expectation of my citizens in Texas. Welcome.
How much time do I have left, Madam President?
You speak as long as you like.
That could be scary.
And then signed by President Nixon into law. Now, President Nixon wasn't I don't think historically is seen as the most woke president we ever had, but he signed these into law.
Senators voting in the affirmative: Crapo, Cruz, Johnson, Mullin, Ricketts, Romney, Scott of Florida, Scott of South Carolina, Sinema, Sullivan.
Kyle in my office says that the best way of eating chili is to, what is it, slurp and dunk or something?
Shot and chaser.
Okay, shot and chaser. So here's the shot of chili. Cinnamon roll.
I stand for too long, Mr. Speaker. We've handcuffed ourselves when it comes to our oil and natural gas potential. I stand before you today committed to unleash America's energy.
This is not a First Amendment issue because we're not trying to ban booty videos. You know, if you make a lot of money, you're corrupt. It's bothering to me because, Mr. Chairman, you yourself have been very successful. Rightfully so. Glad you have been. You've been in office for 28 years, and you and your wife have immersed a wealth of over $8 million.
Well, let me respond, as the senator did mention my name, I think. And I think you got an all-time record here. You've made more misstatements in a shorter period of time than I have ever heard.
Please correct
well,
me.
If I'm worth $8 million, excuse me.
It's all public.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right? Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
If I'm worth $8 million, that's good news to me. I'm not aware of it. That's a lie. All right? Number two.
Part of public records.
You're probably looking at some phony right-wing internet stuff. It ain't true.
I'm talking about gun violence.
You know, there's never been
I'm talking about gun violence.
in a school that allows teachers to carry.
Oh my God. Carry guns? You think more guns lead to more death? More guns lead to more death. Look at the data. You're not looking at any data. You're carrying the water for the gun lobby. Look at the data. More guns lead to more deaths. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Calm down. Children are dying. 9-year-old children. The solution is not arming teachers. Have you ever worked in a school? 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 It's a yes or no question. Have you ever worked in a school? You will not answer my question. Don't stop and talk to me. Okay, I'll bring it down a notch.
Instead of screaming "Orange Man bad" on TikTok, maybe they should come up with some real solutions, because that isn't going to solve the problems that America is facing.
These changes are now law here in DC, correct?
Do you mean the revised criminal code?
Yes.
No, those are not the law.
Those are not the law.
The
revised criminal code was rejected by...
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I'm talking to Mr. Allen.
Yes,
Mr. Allen, did you or did you not decriminalize public urination in Washington, D.C.? Did you lead the charge to do so?
No, the revised criminal code left that as a criminal charge.
Did you lead the charge to decriminalize public urination in Washington, D.C.?
No, ma'am.
So my first question to anyone on the panel is, do you think parents in this country, as they're putting their young kids into pajamas at night and they're tucking them in to bed, you think they're worried about public urination in Washington, D.C., or you think they're worried about sending their kid to school and their kid not coming home?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman is recognized for a point of order. If he'll state his point of order.
Mr. Chairman, these witnesses are being dismissed without the ability to cross-examine their statements. They've made some outlandish allegations here, and consistent with the work of this committee, especially this select committee, and congressional hearings in general, we should have the ability to question their their statements.
You will be given your 5 minutes here with, when we get to the 5 minutes.
They're not here.
They're not here to
They're
question.
absent.
Understand
They
that.
cannot
You will
answer.
be able to
They
ask.
have scurried away with your complicity. They refuse
have
to
not
defend.
scurried away. They
in
were
a country
dismissed
of
like all witnesses were
330
dismissed.
million
The chair
people,
recognizes
you
Mr.
couldn't
Sauer
find 2 people
for his
to
5
defend
minutes
their
of
statements.
testimony.
That's pretty disgraceful.
Mr. Chairman, I have a unanimous consent request.
Gentleman from Louisiana is recognized.
Seek unanimous consent to enter into the record a letter dated January 12, 2021 by Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry, where he decries all political violence and calls for an end to that and asks for respect for all political viewpoints.
Without objection.
Another
so
thing
enter-
we can examine because he's not here. Very good.
No, you can
Thank
examine
you.
it. It's a document. He's going to
No,
enter into the
examine
record.
him for what he wrote and the intent behind what he said.
Well, I would
But,
just
okay.
I would just point out that that's unanimous consents are for documents, and we got the document right here.
Chairman,
that he handed to you.
Mr. Chairman, I would ask unanimous consent.
Mr. Sauer, you
Allowing them
recognize.
to leave is not weaponization. I don't know what is, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, right.
It's been a long time since I was in law school, Wolf, but I remember the old saying, you can indict a ham sandwich, right? The threshold, the burden of proof is very low.
I'm inviting everybody to come by. You can indict your ham sandwich. You can do whatever you want to do. But we're going to fight for Donald Trump, and we're just rallying behind the man today with ham sandwiches.
This is all your fault. Oh, how can I stay mad at you?
I bring you glad tidings from our nation's capital. And it occurred to me last week, watching the Academy Awards, that seeing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in Washington is a bit redundant.